Hi, my name is Beer, and let's start with The Invincible. The Invincible was written by Polish writer Stanisław Lem, the author of the very well-known Solaris. In general, I think that The Invincible should have been a movie, but I will take a game as well. So the plot of the book, I will try to tell you without spoilers, is revolving around an expedition who has landed on a distant desert planet, much like a Mars, but an itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny more alive one. And then bad things start to happen. Duh. All I can say that this plot is not a usual one where you land on some creepy rock and then some monsters start snatching your crew one by one. It's not like that. If you remember Solaris, you can realize that Stanisław Lem tried to avoid clichés and think of something more intriguing. So I can promise you that The Invincible is not a cliché story. It is really good, less psychological if you compare it to Solaris and more action-oriented. Also, if you played Firewatch, you will see where they took the inspiration from. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. With a name like that, you probably wouldn't expect violence, blood and partial nudity in this action RPG looter-shooter, but this is what this game is all about, because it is a spin-off of the Borderlands. First Tiny Tina's Adventure was a DLC for the original Borderlands that came out in 2013. Later it was released as a standalone game and flopped massively. It has mixed reviews on Steam, so developers decided to take another shot. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a first-person shooter fantasy RPG game, which is not a very common thing these days, and for that only deserves your attention. Terminator Resistance. I remember seeing a trailer of this game a few years ago and I was like,
this probably will be a flop.
And I ignored it on my false prejudice for years. Why false? Well, it has more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam, not too far away from overwhelmingly positive titles, so it's almost a masterpiece. The game is a first-person shooter set during the Future War scenario that was only glimpsed in the first two iconic movies. The machines are destined to lose, but at what cost? So basically here you will run and gun or sneak and hack through Skynet's defenses, level up your skills and explore a post-apocalyptic world for scraps to trade and craft, also interact with other survivors and change their fates. People on Steam are saying that this is the real Terminator 3, as it should have been. It contains an amazing atmosphere, also interesting story and developed characters. Roguebook. This is a roguelike deck builder with unique mechanics from the developers of Faria and Richard Garfield, creator of Magic the Gathering. He will build a team of two heroes and dive into a memorable adventure like never before, or more likely like, sometimes before. I would probably ignore the game, but the Roguebook's unique characters, especially various monsters, catch my attention. I'm really tired of conventional monsters, like dragons or unicorns, and this game has some really nice hybrids I never seen before. So here you'll be able to choose from 6 hero pairs, and each hero has a collection of over 50 cards, a personal relic and a unique skill tree. You will choose your combo and dive into the battles where you will face over 40 bosses and enemies. Game has very positive reviews and people on Steam are saying that this is an awesome follow-up if you liked Slay the Spire. MechWarrior 5. Welcome to the year 3015. It's a hell of a time to be alive. Humanity has colonized thousands of star systems, spanning a vast region of space known as the Inner Sphere. The golden age of cooperation and advancement is now a distant memory, and humanity has once again splintered into factions, all vying for supremacy. The battlefields of the future are dominated by battle mechs, hulking machines of war capable of destroying entire cities. As a battle mech pilot, you'll rain havoc upon enemy mechs, including tanks, ground vehicles, aircraft, and advanced defenses. I remember when I played MechWarrior 3 more than 20 years ago, I was gobsmacked. These graphics looked like a movie to me. Yeah, these. I was wondering back then if nowadays graphics are such realistic ones, what will the future bring? Will graphics of the games become better than the real world? It is actually a good question that is still haunting me. I don't believe it's possible, but is it really? Garden Story. This is a social sim and adventure RPG where you play as Concord, a newly appointed village guardian. There is lots to keep you busy. Not only your neighbors need assistance, but a mysterious rot has seeped into the foundations of once flourishing island. Honestly, that part of the story is a shameful ripoff from Yonder Cloudcatcher Chronicles, or from a never-ending story. Although that doesn't really matter because this game is really different in many other aspects. Anyway, he will help your friends with their struggles and they will help you through yours. You know that raging addiction to pineapples in your potato salad will not go away by itself. You need help. So here you will have to balance caring for the environment, exploring new regions and fostering new friendships as you solve puzzles and help restore the grove to glory. Sea Salt. It's a dark fantasy reverse horror action strategy game with a comfy horror vibe where you play as a nightmarish force of Dagon, the Eldritch god. You will be controlling an ever-growing horde of evil minions. To say short, you are evil and you slay good guys. That is very nice, I like that. Game looks easy at the beginning, you just run after some weaponless guys and tear them to pieces. But later it gets harder and harder.
That's what she said.
And then everything in your control dies horribly. To be short, it's a great game. I have reviewed this game in my channel, and back then I gave the game 8 cold beers out of 10, which is a really high amount of imaginary alcohol. Generation Zero. It may not be the best game on this list. It holds only a mostly positive review score on Steam, but the setting and the atmosphere of the game is really worthy of your attention. Honestly, the game was really hyped upon a release, and when people didn't get a masterpiece, bad reviews started to flow. That is a story of many games, and Generation Zero definitely doesn't deserve that, because it may not be a masterpiece, but it's not a bad game as well. Here you will explore alternative Sweden in 1989. One day Swedes woke up early in the morning and saw that their beloved Sverige is overrun by evil robots. Where did they came from, who made them, nobody knows. Probably evil Norwegians who were envious of Swedish reindeer herds. Everyone knows that casual Swedish deer produces 7 times the amount of milk than Norwegian deer does. Even the males. That is the fact, trust me, every Swede in the comments can confirm that. Anyway, the price is really wallet friendly, and most people who left a review on Steam have from 10 to a few hundred hours of playtime on record. Creaks. The creators of Samorost and Machinarium created this masterpiece as well. I don't think they are capable of something not great. Most of their games have a Steam review score above 90%, and so does the Creaks. This is an immersive puzzle game that delights our eyes with its hand-painted visuals and precise animation. It also has great sound design and an eclectic original score from Hidden Orchestra. You'll proceed at your own pace at figuring out the solutions of dozens of carefully designed puzzles, explore the mansion for hidden paintings, and uncover the great secret. As developers say, Creaks is best enjoyed with a controller and a good pair of headphones. Broken Lines. The dead are returning from the graves. If crash landing behind enemy lines was already a challenging experience for you and your squad, you sure as hell didn't sign up for this kind of nonsense. Yet now is up to you to discover the source of this occult magic in the war-ridden land that you found yourselves in, and hopefully eliminate it before hordes of zombies spread all over the world. So yes, now every genre has a zombie game. Don't expect miracles in Broken Lines, the game is quite short and is not innovative as it may seem, although if you like turn-based games, it is really a good choice for your evening. Price is right, so grab it and keep your virginity safe and sound. The Forgotten City. This game, as a lot of gamers point out, is a Groundhog Day in an ancient city. The mechanic here is simple, everyone around you is dying for unknown reasons and you have to stop it. If you fail, and you will fail more than once, you can just go to the portal and restart the day over and over again until you solve the problem of dying so nobody dies anymore. If you think about it, this is a roguelite game, just story-based instead of combat, and it's really one of the best adventure games there is. I'm not gonna lie, if you go to Steam you will see the overwhelmingly positive review score. Also, fun fact, this game started as a Skyrim mod a long time ago, and it was so well received it became a separate kick-ass game. Dawn of Man. This is a nice city-building game where you control some ancient people, hunt mighty mammoths, gather various herbs, and build Stonehenges. Although, what is the meaning of them? The game also has great AI. Not as great as a Skynet, but that is nice, because Dawn of Man will fail if it tries to conquer the real world. Although we never know what simple AI is plotting against us. We will never know until it's too late. The biggest flaw of the game, in my opinion, is the game's color palette. Boring greenish-brownish tones everywhere can be really hard to the eye, and the game itself is focused on survival and not war, so keep that in mind if you like to wage battles. Of course, there are some war elements. You have to defend your settlements from various raider scum, but that's almost it. Riftbreaker. Here you are, the Riftbreaker, an elite scientist commando inside a powerful mecha suit.
Ooh la la.
You have entered a one-way portal to a distant planet at the far reaches of the Milky Way. You have a purpose of building up a base that will allow travels back to Earth and continue colonization. So you are tasked to construct a two-way rift back to Earth, because living on a planet without cold, refreshing beer or potato salad is painful, and that shouldn't even be a legal thing. Although you encounter a bit of a bigger problem than the absence of beer, which is monsters, thousands of them. The game itself is a hybrid between StarCraft, Diablo and Satisfactory, a really great and entertaining game. Battletech. Most of the games involving battle mechs are first or third person shooters, not this one. This is actually a real treat for turn-based strategy lovers. The year is 3025 and the galaxy is trapped in a cycle of war fought by noble houses with enormous mechanized combat vehicles. Here you will take command of your own mercenary outfit of mechs and MechWarriors that pilot them. Struggling to stay afloat as you find yourself drawn into a brutal interstellar civil war, you will upgrade your staff warring base of operations, negotiate mercenary contracts with feudal lords, repair and maintain your stable of aging battle mechs, and execute devastating combat tactics to defeat your enemies on the battlefield, or be defeated over and over again until you actually learn to play. On Steam you can find people that have sunk hundreds of hours into this game, so this is by no means just a casual title. For you it can become a real spoon of delicious potato salad. The Quarry. I would say that this is a usual slasher movie, except this time it's a game, where all the stupid decisions of the protagonist are made by you. So here you'll be in charge of a band of teenagers who decided to go to a distant quarry and celebrate, something. And things quickly took a turn for the worse. Hunted by blood-drenched locals and something far more sinister, your plans unravel into an unpredictable night of horror. Friendly banter and flirtations give way to life or death decisions, as relationships build or break under the strain of unimaginable choices, made by you by the way. You will play as each of 9 characters in a thrilling cinematic tale, where every decision shapes your unique story from a tangled web of possibilities. Any character can be the star of the show or die before daylight comes, and it's all your fault. Honestly, this game is better played in the company of friends, or with your loving mother-in-law, so you could laugh and be scared together. People on Steam are praising the game's replayability but bashing its short story. Only 10 hours of fun for this price is a bit expensive even on a sale. Steelrising. Basically, if you like dark fantasy and hate France, it's a game for you. Nah, I'm obviously kidding, I love France. But here the country is in ruins and only you can save French people and beat the oil and screws out of the bodies of bloodthirsty robots. So what happened here? Why are there so many automatons running in Paris and killing everyone left and right? Well, of course, because of the evil king Louis XVI. He made an army of robots and started to terrorize citizens just because he can. And because the king doesn't want history to unfold just like it unfolded in our reality. He was so unpopular that he was executed by guillotine, and after his death France became a republic. By the way, fun fact, after his head was cut off, the cheering crowd rushed towards his dead body with the hopes to soak his blood into the napkins, as a souvenir. Such a napkin nowadays would be worth a fortune, no doubt. Imagine, you could probably even clone the king from it and claim the throne of France once again. That is one dangerous napkin. Anyway, people on Steam are saying that Steelrising is a fun steampunk-themed Souls-like game in which you can tweak combat difficulty, so it is more friendly for casual players. But the game lacks optimization. Some gamers say it stutters even on modern PCs, but that is not an issue for everyone, although it's often enough for it to drop the game's score to only mostly positive. Mechabellum. This is an auto-battler taking place on a newly colonized planet. You are the commander of an army of mechs, fighting in massive player versus player battles. You can customize and level up your units before the fight, strategically place them on the battlefield and watch them destroy your enemies without mercy. Or be destroyed and cry. Or just cry without being destroyed. I don't know, man. I don't know your life, what you like or not. What I actually know is that the game is really fun. Most of the time you just watch and enjoy. It's like personal battle stories made just for you, and not all of them will have a happy ending. Although the more you practice, the more happy endings you will get.
That's what she said.
Yeah, anyway, if you play totally accurate battle simulator, you know what I have in mind. If not, you should. It's awesome. Evil West. This is some sweet hack-and-slash action. Here you will play as a cowboy vampire hunter and, hunt some evil along your way to salvation. Well, probably not. No salvation for you. I just said that because it sounds cool. Here you can battle alone or with a friend as you go through the land engulfed by myths and legends retold within the Wild West universe. You can evolve perks, upgrade your tools and weapons to make even more carnage, and fight through the story-driven campaign to make America free of vampires again. People on Steam are saying that the game is dumb and fun. It has a cheesy plot and cowboys punching vampires with electricity and flamethrowers. That is not what you see every day. What is the actual genre of that? The Isle. So let's start with the fact that this is an MMO game, but it's very different from anything you have ever played. You aren't a human thrown into ancient times, but an actual dinosaur here. When joining the Isle, you can play as one of dozens of unique creatures, from tiny herbivores to bloodthirsty giants such as T-Rex, Allosaurus or almighty Penisoraptor. Well, the latter may not be in-game, but you never know. As a dinosaur, you will be the epitome of majestic, cunning and ferocious. You will use your natural abilities and senses to stay off the menu and grow into a stronger, more capable creature. You'll engage in a living prehistoric ecosystem as you become either a predator or prey, on servers featuring up to 100 players, all of them as hungry and dangerous as you are. People on Steam are talking that before you play, do a research about the servers you are joining in. Some are very lame and some have cool people running them with an actual population of 100 players. Vampyr. As I always say about this game, at the beginning here you will suck a lot. Not blood, you just suck in general because you are a recently transformed vampire newbie. And you know the fate of such newborn vampires in all the movies. They easily die by the hand of every protagonist. So with time you will become more and more powerful, as you have to survive and fight vampire hunters, undead and other supernatural creatures. Use your powers to manipulate and delve into the lives of those around you to decide who will be your next victim. You will like this game if you are into darker settings and like difficult moral choices, because your food here has different personalities. You may want to kill only bad criminals and not an innocent father of 2 sick kids, and sometimes you just need to feed and kill him anyway. You may think that,
hey, it's just a game, it doesn't matter.
But it's the same as with the dying pandas in Zoo Planet. They are not real, but the game still makes you feel like shit, so be sure that you like that kind of stuff.
And now, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.